welcome back to Questions Over Coffee. My name's Kevin Smith. It's good to see you again. Want a cup of coffee? Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you don't miss anything that's coming up on Questions Over Coffee. If you have a comment or a question, leave it in the section below. We'll get to it just as fast as we can. Today's question is, what does it mean that God calls himself a jealous God? I mean, after all, isn't jealousy bad? Let's take a look at one of the passages where he calls himself a jealous God. It's in the Ten Commandments. It's Exodus chapter 20, and we're going to look at verses 4 through 6. You shall not make for yourself an idol, or any likeness of what is in heaven above, or on the earth beneath, or in the water under the earth. You shall not worship them or serve them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children, on the third and fourth generations of those who hate me, but showing loving kindness to thousands, to those who love me and keep my commandments. Okay, so there's the passage that we're dealing with. So what does it mean that God is a jealous God? Now, according to the dictionary app on my iPad, I believe it is from dictionary.com. Here are the definitions that we have for jealous. Feeling resentment against someone because that person's rivalry, success, or advantages. Feeling resentment because of another's successes, advantage, etc. Characterized by proceeding from suspicious fears or envious resentment, inclined to or troubled by suspicions or fears of rivalry, unfaithfulness, etc. Solicitous or vigilant in maintaining or guarding something. Or here's the definition that they give for a biblical definition: intolerant of unfaithfulness or rivalry. Now this last one comes with a sense of an exclusive relationship, much like a husband and a wife relationship, where the husband is faithful to the wife is faithful to the husband. They do not go and seek companionship elsewhere. This is the definition that is being used for God when he says, I am a jealous God. You know, but maybe you say, but Kevin, that's Old Testament. We're not bound by the Old Testament. And you're right, we're not. But take a look at 1 Corinthians chapter 10. In 1 Corinthians chapter 10, Paul is kind of replaying Israel's mistakes for the church in Corinth, okay? Now, he brings this section up about eating at an idol's table. This is, we're going to read together from verses 20 and 21. What we're going to do, we're going to look at 1 Corinthians chapter 10, and we're going to focus on verses 20 through 23. Let's read together. No, but I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to demons, and not to God. And I do not want you to become sharers in demons. You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of demons. You cannot partake of the table of the Lord and the table of demons. Or do we provoke the Lord to jealousy? We are not stronger than he, are we? All things are lawful, but not all things are profitable. All things are lawful, but not all things edify. Okay, so we get this idea in 1 Corinthians 10 that God hasn't changed. Basically, Paul even poses the question, are we going to provoke God to jealousy? You know, in the sense of, you can't play both sides of the fence. You can't try to live like he wants you to live when you want to do it, and then live like you want to live or like the world wants you to live when you just have a mind to do so. This is what Paul was telling them, because what they were doing was they had a foot in both worlds. They had a foot in the pagan society, so, they could still be friends with their neighbors and, things like that. Still look good to their neighbors. They're sacrificing to these demons. They're eating the meat that was sacrificed to them, basically worshiping and praising them. And then they were going and trying to partake of the Lord's Supper and seeking to worship God. Paul says you can't have it both ways. It's one of those things that we made a choice when we were immersed. We said, I want God. I want His way. Jesus puts it another way in Luke chapter 9. Here's what Jesus says in Luke chapter 9, verses 23 through 26. Let's read together. And he was saying to them all, if anyone wishes to come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. For whoever wishes to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake, he is the one who will save it. For what is a man profited if he gains the whole world and loses or forfeits himself? For whoever is ashamed of me and my words, the Son of Man will be ashamed of him when he comes in his glory, and the glory of the Father and of the holy angels. Okay, so Jesus tells them, you got to pick. You can't have it both ways. Because God is a jealous God. It hasn't changed. When we become Christians, we are making that exclusive commitment to God. So we can't seek to serve Satan or as the culture puts it today, serve ourselves. We've got to seek to serve God. So I have a question for you. What do you do to stay faithful to your commitment to God? How do you do it? Leave me a comment in the section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you don't miss anything that's coming up on Questions Over Coffee. Thank you for our time together today. I look forward to the next time. Keep pressing forward.